The world of Mario has some interesting bosses, and Boom Boom is one of them. However, what happened to him throughout time? How did he change in terms of use, game design, looks, and story in all those years? Well, let's find out. Boom Boom makes his first appearance in Super Mario Bros. 3 for the NES, where he helps Bowser and the Koopalings invade the Mushroom World's 7 kingdoms. He appears in the fortresses of each kingdom, fighting Mario and Luigi to prevent them from going any closer to the Koopalings. So this is one of the main mini-bosses in the game, which you fight again and again. On the other hand, a bit lame. In battle, Boom Boom begins by simply walking left and right towards Mario, occasionally crouching down and showing his large spikes, and then leaping. After being hit, he either starts to charge and jump very high, or flies with his winged arms, and later on in the battle, he becomes faster. Overall, this boss is quite simplistic, but if you compare it to the others from that time period, then it isn't that bad. Most of them were just as awkward and stiff in their movements, but this one also improved in some areas. For example, he had some different abilities that you had to keep in mind, like the attacks he does after being hit. Most bosses in older games like Super Mario Bros. 1 and 2 didn't really do that. They would continue with their normal behavior, so they were more predictable than Boom Boom. They usually had one tactic and repeated that until they won or were defeated. But Boom Boom at least tries to trick the player sometimes. For example, with the occasional crouching down and showing his large spikes. You don't always see this coming, and because you have to jump on its head to take it out, this can be your end. So overall, an improvement over the older bosses, right? Well, yes, it was more complicated and unpredictable. But there's also a huge problem with all of this. You fight him way too much in the game. So much that you aren't caught off guard anymore. The first time it's all new to you, but after fighting him multiple times, you know all his moves, and he doesn't gain any new ones over time. Luckily enough, there are also other bosses in the game like the Koopalings, but it would have been better if Boom Boom changed from battle to battle. However, he doesn't do that, and so he becomes quite predictable after a couple of battles. A bit of a shame. So, what could they do next? What was their plan with Boom Boom? Well, nothing at all. It was gone for years, and only popped up in more recent games. Nintendo does this a lot, and I don't know why they would. They create a whole new character with its own abilities, story and role, but dump it straight away. He was first seen in 1988, was ditched after that game, and came back in Super Mario 3D Land in 2011, a whopping 23 years later. So after many years of absence, Boom Boom makes his return, along with a new boomerang-wielding female partner named Pom Pom. In this game, Boom Boom now has an audible voice for the first time ever. Here, he is portrayed by Lenny Manila, who gives him quite a deep voice. But why did he return? They got rid of him after one game, and now he's in one of the latest Mario games and even has a voice. Why would they bring him back? Well, in an interview, Koichi Hayashida explained that when Tanuki Mario appeared, some members of the team wanted to include Boom Boom and the Koopalings. Then they created a type of gameplay where the enemy follows as you run around the room, and they thought this would be interesting, so they used Boom Boom to put it into the game. So the reason why they made him return was a specific mechanic. It's essentially a mini-boss fight in a very small room, a bit like the boss battles in Super Mario Bros. 3, but in 3D now. And Boom Boom went through a number of changes. In battle, Boom Boom spins wildly with his arms and fists in order to hurt Mario. But if he does this too long, he becomes dizzy and vulnerable. When hit, Boom Boom can also attack by retreating into his large shell and then spinning fast in random directions, in a similar fashion to the Koopalings when they are hit by a player in New Super Mario Bros. Wii. After taking 3 hits from Mario Stomps, Boom Boom is defeated and will vanish while releasing 10 coins. So his attacks are completely different here. The jumping move and his large spikes are gone. This is probably because of the now 3D world. This changes a lot. Just look at Super Mario 64. The first time they tried this, a lot had to be changed in order to make it work. And also the room you fight Boom Boom in is always different, which makes the fights more fun, since they also have their own challenges, like spikes on the floor. Now another thing they added was a female version named Pom Pom. She mostly throws boomerangs and jumps around. And in some levels they work together, which is also a great way of keeping the battles more interesting. So this is a huge improvement over the Boom Boom from Super Mario Bros. 3. There are now two types, Boom Boom and Pom Pom, and they have their own abilities. And the rooms you fight them in always present different challenges. There is some variety now, which makes it all less predictable and boring. So overall, great! This is a huge improvement. But how long did this last? Well, Boom Boom was also seen in the more recent New Super Mario Bros. U and Super Mario 3D World. The first is a 2D game, and the second a 3D one. So let's first see what changed in the 2D one. Well, here multiple Boom Booms are shown on the world map. So, are there multiple then? Well, this is something people have been thinking about for quite some time. And to be honest, we don't really know, so it will remain a mystery. In this game, he once again possesses spikes on his shell, just like in Super Mario Bros. 3. Overall, he goes back to his old behavior. But do we run into the same problem again? Is he yet again too predictable? Well, no. And that's because of Kamek. He gives Boom Boom a new power every time. For example, a jump ability or wings. This makes the fight way better. There is something new to keep in mind every time, making all the fights different. This is something they could have added in Super Mario Bros. 3, but didn't. And Pom Pom? Well, she is gone. Why is unknown. Yet again, Nintendo being weird. They could have easily added her without having to do a lot of work. Now in Super Mario 3D World, they are both seen, however, not that much. We see Boom Boom in only 4 levels and Pom Pom in 3. So they didn't use them a whole lot. Probably because they didn't put in the different rooms filled with traps. Without those, it gets boring pretty fast. But he has some new powers to make up for that, like invisibility and a copy ability. So the fight is still different every time. Now Pom Pom also has some new abilities, like throwing shurikens instead of boomerangs, and clones that also attack you. Yet again to create variety. That's just the biggest problem with reusing mini-bosses. They need to change a bit every time. But what about their story then? Well, it's almost non-existent. Nintendo used them as mini-bosses, and that's it. They could have done way more with them, but decided to do nothing. The only thing we know is that they serve Bowser, and that Pom Pom is elegant, and Boom Boom has a short temper. Will we see them again in future games? Well, who knows? We haven't seen them in Super Mario Odyssey yet. But you know Nintendo, they always have a card up their sleeve. I guess we will just have to wait and see. Hey there, before you go, be sure to check out my other social media. It's all on the screen right now. We do all kinds of fun stuff there, like live streams, talk in voice chat, and I update all of you. Thanks for watching everybody, I hope you enjoyed. If you want to watch more videos, click the annotations on the screen right now. Be sure to subscribe because way more videos will be coming. And I just hope that you had a lovely day.